And welcome everybody here to MotorTrendOnDemand.com and World-Challenge.com as we get set for the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas here at Circuit of the Americas. I'm Jeff Lepper. Greg Creamer will be joining me shortly here as we get set for round number 2 of the race weekend here. Action in our Touring Car A, and Touring Car B spec categories. Just finished up with one of the support races here this weekend and winding down over a pretty long weekend of action here for Pirelli World Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. Of course, with our touring car categories, it's been a very great year in our touring car, TCA, and TCB. And we still have 2 more rounds to go after today to round out the season championship at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca come October 15th through the 17th. A lot of big stories coming in here, however, has been the charge from Gregory Leafouge in that Stephen Cameron Racing BMW, the Primex energy drink car, who won yesterday, set fastest race lap for the pole yesterday. That got him that bonus point. So the gap now is only 16 points to Paul Holton. So where Holton had a commanding 31-point lead before this weekend, or before the last round at Utah Motorsports Campus, that's dwindled away now as it comes here for this race weekend. TCA category, congratulations to Kenny Murillo. His first win that was actually earned. It happened in the tech shed before. He was able to move from second to first. He was able to clinch the win with a superb drive over Matthew Fosnot, your points leader in TCA, and his teammate Elevon Goulart for that battle. And Matthew able to better his teammate yesterday, if you saw the action here at World-Challenge.com. And that TCB category, even closer. PJ Gronke, Kanan O'Connell, Jake Pipel all battling for the final TCB championship. We're not sure who's going to get that, Greg Creamer. That's I think that's the most exciting racing anyway, and it's really sad to see TCB go.
It really is. It's been a great avenue. We've seen drivers that have used it to exact plan to make that ladder climb up to the Pirelli World Challenge race. You know, you think of guys like Nate Stacey, Ernie Francis, guys that have started there, and that's propelled them up into the upper echelons of the championship, and it always produces some incredibly close racing. But as you said, you know, some of these new programs coming online now, and the way that the TCA class, which is just frankly a little bit of a faster, intense class, is becoming more and more affordable. I think that's, you know, the obvious direction that we're going to be looking at here, and but I agree with you. I think it's going to be very sad to see TCB go, and it has been a great ride, and we've certainly enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what, we couldn't have a better championship to wrap it up with.
No, not at all. I mean, it's really, when you think about it, how close this competition has been. And you talk about those newcomers, Kanan O'Connell into his first full season.'s done a couple one-offs last year, getting acclimated to Pirelli World Challenge competition, coming in here not really on the coattails of his father whatsoever, doing it all on his own backing, his own sponsorship with that Tech Sport Racing team. Longtime Pirelli World Challenge competitor in the B-Spec category was, you know, PJ Gronke, who, you know, unfortunately he's looking for a ride next year. He's out of the TCB car. He's going to have no choice but to move up this time if he wants to do that. And then young Jake Pipel making his debut in your rookie year with a chance to win a championship. Pretty neat stuff.
I think it'd be fun to see PJ Gronke behind the wheel of a touring car A card. For him, they're a little bit bigger, so he can actually get more of those sponsor decals that he puts his program together, while others get a big sponsorship or two. The way that he goes about it is a few bucks at a shot, and his list of sponsors is immense, but he works it so hard. And, you just got this championship that's being decided. 2 teammates, Jake Pipel in the mix, all of them incredibly, genuinely nice people, too. That just makes it all the more compelling.
Always smiling, always talking to everybody, always in the paddock doing a great job. So good fun there in the Touring Car B-Spec category. They will conclude that series championship at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and will be no longer. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds in the championship next year. And there is Gregory Leafouge, and it was Nick Whitmer, your pole sitter in our Touring Car category, getting that P1. So good to see him. And how about Matt Travis there on that outside of the pole? Great run for him. We saw him in the race yesterday, just making his debut here in Pirelli World Challenge. Classic BMW, the local team, and doing a superb job.
First ever time in Pirelli World Challenge competition here. 5th yesterday, 2nd quick lap. He has certainly let people know what he's about in that black and white classic BMW entry. Whitmer, you know, with all of the speed he has and everything, hard to believe this is his first pole, and he got the fast lap yesterday. Great to see that. Leafouge, Toby Grahovic, the defending series champion, will start in the 4th spot in the number 1 classic BMW entry after finishing 4th yesterday. There's Travis right behind him. You see that red hooded classic BMW of Toby Grahovic. A great run yesterday, onto the podium and 5th quick lap in the process, getting his 2nd podium of the season and 4th top 5 driving for Rooster Hall Racing out of Loria, Wisconsin. Absolutely great job, Virginia, my bad. Anthony Magagnoli, going to be great to have him right up in the sharp end of things once again in that Rooster Hall Racing BMW. Stefan Sajic, a tremendous run there in the race yesterday, sitting in that 6th spot for the Zima Motorsports team. And the interesting thing is there's a lot of different BMWs there, but a huge variety in terms of teams fielding them.
It really is. You got the classic BMW. We talked about Rooster Hall Racing, ST Racing with Samantha Tan, Steve Cameron Racing, the old C360R, Carl Thompson, his team there, Berg Racing, Winding Road Racing, SAC Racing. You go through all these different teams there, and then the lone team, one car, Brass Monkey Racing with Tony Rivera and that Nissan 370Z. So, and some new debuts of the teams doing their full season. Jeff Rika and that Gin Racer team. So great to see them, and a couple one-offs as well still left. You see that yellow Nissan 370Z there. Derek Kulak earned his way in here by winning the T3 National Championship in his Nissan 350Z. And, of course, he gets to step into, actually, Dad's car, Rick Kulak. So
there you go.
We'll be racing that car 3 weeks at the National Championship runoffs. Want to make sure that you get that car out of here unscathed going into this race. You don't want to mess that up for 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you take a look at the Touring Car A, Eric Powell, who had a problem on the actual first lap yesterday and wasn't even classified in the event. Tell you what, though, I mean, the guy is, when that car is working, it is so quick. And he's going to be able to start up front today. Matt Fosnot, so quick. And that battle that he and his teammate, Elevan Goulart, had yesterday, you see two teammates. And for Elevan, that's got to be an interesting scenario because he's the team owner. Fosnot's a client. And yet they ran each other that hard, but you notice it was always incredibly clean. That's great stuff.
It really was. To see them two going back and forth, and Fosnot sort of the student now, bettering the teacher, so to speak. Of course, I know Justin Pistatel has really coached Matthew Fosnot through this, and then Adamir Fudamenti. Our thoughts are with you, buddy. We heard you had some medical problems there. The team owner there at SAC Racing. Tried to see him. Wish you a great, speedy recovery as well. Elevan starting in the 4th place today. Eric Powell, electrical problems with that. They have a bad gremlin that keep blowing a master control fuse, so to speak, that really just shuts the whole car off. And that happened on the formation lap. Never even able to take the green flag. The car came down, they changed the fuse, the car held together enough time to be able to put down a good lap for that qualifying pole. So you really switch that strategy to go for, I want to be on the pole.
Absolutely. And just a quick note here, starting back in the 26th spot, in only his 2nd weekend running in the touring car category is the number 30 of Travis Wache, of course, who's been a absolute front runner in the touring car B category and now running for Indian Summer Racing in the touring car category itself. It's his birthday today, so just want to say a big happy birthday to Travis Wache.
Oh, happy birthday to him, and Ted Saley as well in that Mazda 2. He's got a brand new choice privilege on the side of that Mazda 2. Got a podium here yesterday, so great job for him. And watch him starting in 3rd place today. He'll see if he can really bend the class of the field over those Chevy Sonics. He's trying to see if he can catch them, and maybe instead of making it a Chevy 1-2, maybe he can squeeze that little Mazda 2 in there. So watch for Ted Saley and his car. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And you look at the size of this field here. If you're doing the count and you're wondering, am I right? Yeah, 50 cars. So this is going to be a big one. This standing start up into turn 1 ought to be just intense.
They do the rolling start, and they actually are able to make a gap to where they give the touring car a green flag. The starter will pull it. They'll give the TCA cars their own green flag. Then the TCB cars their own green flag. That's not going to happen here. I think the standing starts really hurt the touring car A category guys and the touring car B spec category guys, because when everyone comes up into turn number 1, they do that bottleneck effect, and you're all momentum in a TCB car and a TCA car.
Well, and we just get word from race control. We're within 1 minute to the command to get the engines fired up and get this one underway. The penultimate event in this championship. And this one, and then a bit of a wait until we get to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in October. And then it's all decided there, the championship banquet. But today, this is going to be a big run and a big deciding factor in who's in position for a championship when we get to the season finale. But right now, watching our pit lane official, and he is going to give the signal here momentarily to fire this field up, this 50-car strong field, and we are going to go racing. Talked to Nick Whitmer last night, and he was just really excited about the speed he's got. He said, I know I didn't get the win yesterday, came so close to it, and he said, but this car is working. And that is impressive. And heading out, the new, essentially, official safety vehicle of the Pirelli World Challenge, Jeff.
Yeah, that beautiful Honda Civic SI turbocharged. What a great platform. We'll see a couple of those cars competing here this weekend as well with Tom O'Gorman and Shea Holbrook. So good to see the Civic SI that's in our TCA category, but all these cars, over 50 of them, led by that HPD Honda Civic SI.
It's almost an O'Gorman blue there in the front of the car. I don't know if there's any connection, but hey, that's the colors he flies. So we thought we'd mention it. Here we go, out on the installation lap to get this one ready to go. Boy, it's just going to be a lot of fun, no question. Paul Holton starting in the 7th spot in that points leading Audi. Number 71. He's got some work to do today.
When you look at Nick Whitmer starting on pole, he's going to get a bonus point. So that's only going to put him 4 points behind Gregory Leafouge. So he'll only be 20 points behind Paul Holton. This championship is far from over. Everybody kind of was talking about how Paul Holton came back to Pirelli World Challenge competition full-time this season, and it was going to be his to have, especially with that new Audi platform. And here in these later stages, everybody sort of stepped their game up a little bit and really improved, especially that number 20.
Yeah, Leafouge has just been on form as of. He's always just an exceptionally good racer, but it just seems like he and that Stephen Cameron crew have really hit the sweet spot one in the setup of that car, and it has allowed Leafouge, who's had a long partnership with Stephen Cameron, to really extract an awful lot out of that 235 IR.
Really does, and he does a lot of coaching there all through all the drivers that Stephen Cameron comes in. We saw him with Ari Below a little bit earlier in our Sprint X competition class running a BMW in the GTX Pro-Am category, so good for him.
And let's take a look now at our Porsche race analysis. And this is a 3.4-mile track, 20 turns. You've been around this, Jeff. It is a track that just throws everything at you. And here it's got to accommodate 50 cars running in 3 different classes. I think we're in for a scorcher of a race.
It is, and the 3 sectors that they break this track up to are all different. The first sector, all about handling, not necessarily speed. Second sector, all about horsepower and speed. Third sector, you blend all those together. You have to have the horsepower and the high-speed sweepers, and you got to have that aero, that downforce, and that handling. That's what makes Circuit of the Americas so special.
Now it's going to be a fun one to watch. We're looking forward to calling it, and it's coming your way next. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas. Just a quick reminder, everybody that's watching here on our global webcast, you're just eavesdropping as we're building our CBS Sports Network show. You're going to hear some layouts and the like. We appreciate your understanding. We think this is going to be a great one, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The field coming up to take its position for the standing start, working through the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. Not really an issue on the start, but if we have any cautions and restarts, that last couple of corners are going to be extremely important into that zone. Here is a look at our quad box featuring the great views from our Replay XD cameras, and looking forward to this. Just a sampling of some of the onboards you'll be able to enjoy as this race unfolds. And there he sits, pole sitter Nick Whitmer, ST Racing, number 91 BMW, that Laurel BMW of Westmont entry coming up, but there's 50 cars behind him that are still working their way around. Here is a look at our Cadillac Escalade, the official medical vehicle of the Pirelli World Challenge. Big thanks once again to a great partner in Cadillac providing that for us here this weekend and throughout the season in our Pirelli World Challenge touring car divisions. All right, here we go. Looks like they're close to being set, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know what Travis Wachet is doing way back there, sticking out a little bit, but they're all pretty much in a row. And you see those black boxes on the left stand on the tripod signs. You'll see a red light come on. When those red lights go out, we go racing for 40 minutes here of touring car action.
Yeah, this is not a lot of experience for Travis as the lights are on. We are close. The revs come up. We're green. Whitmer, a great start. Seemed to roll at exactly the drop of the flag. That's what he wanted to do. Look at Toby Grahovic, Jeff, trying to split that Leah Fouge and Matt Travis scenario. He does. What a start by Grahovic.
Yeah, trying to get some momentum there to the outside, getting pushed off on the exit of one. He's going to lose a couple positions. Maganoli into third, and they're bunching up in the backside. Looks like everybody's going to get through cleanly, though.
Boy, what a launch by Maganoli, reading it beautifully. Let Grahovic run a little bit too hot up into turn one, pushed wide, came down underneath, and everybody's good. Whitmer leading, and guess who? Right there, Leah Fouge from third into second. He just never loses positions on these starts. The guy is consummate, and you know he's just going to start attacking on Whitmer right away.
Paul Holton back to 11th place. This is perfect for these two championship contenders running 1-2. Holton, that front-wheel drive car, has a hard time on the standing starts. He'll need to recover, but he needs that clean air to make that aero on that Audi work.
And we'll see what he's able to do here. Meanwhile, you see Mason Filippi in the background there taking a look. Matt Travis dropped back a number of spots. That's unfortunate for him after that great run. Sits back in about 5th or 6th at this point. Whitmer now leading. Leah Fouge under attack from Maganoli. And that Rooster Hall Racing entry coming after the Stephen Cameron BMW, 2nd and 3rd.
Highest speed on the track so far into here was 136 miles an hour. Tony Rivera in that Nissan 370Z down here in the hard braking zone at turn number 12. Almost a second gear corner in some of these cars. You see that red 370Z SPL parts on the side of that car way back there in the background. That car had a huge shunt we saw at Utah Motorsports Campus. Good job from that team getting it back underway.
Absolutely it did. And man, that run that he had has got him up inside of and past Paul Holton, so that was a huge run out of 11 down into 12 for Tony Rivera. Meanwhile, this field working its way through. Here's a good look at Mason Filippi. He's been on form as of late as well. 6th place in the race yesterday. Always right at the sharp end of things. And boy, Carl Whitmer for a front drive. That's another front drive, that older Honda in that Fuse lenses machine. He got a great start.
Did a superb run there on the green flag, and I think he timed it just to perfection when he let off the clutch pedal and go. But good to see the two Whitmer brothers. First time in this Pirelli World Challenge season that either of the 4 Racing Whitmer clan has ever raced against each other. So pretty cool stuff. As Maganoli looking to the outside of Leah Fouge up here in turn number 1. Can he swing it over and under here and make LaFouge go down on the side there? And Maganoli has to make a defensive move there coming down into turn number 2.
And Leah Fouge drifted a little bit wide as a warning's coming from race control about track limits. And Maganoli going to try and just stick it down the inside. You got to be a little farther along. I think he recognized that smart move by Anthony and just breathed out of it a little bit to avoid what would have been, I think, some pretty inevitable contact at this point. And Matt Travis, we talked about it, 2nd on the launch, back into 5th at this stage. And a good start by Anthony Rudd, who did a nice job coming, or Jacob Rudd, excuse me, up from 9th in the number 81 entry. He picked up a couple of spots in that opening lap.
Well, it looks like Kenny Morello up there in 2nd place. Matthew Fosnot and Ella Von Goulart, the teammates, still battling for that 3rd place. Eric Powell checked out a little bit now in that Scion FRS from Tech Sport Racing. He's about 2 seconds ahead of this lead group, so a tremendous start for Eric Powell here in that first lap.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that Scion just seems to be able to get to speed in a huge hurry. There he is. And look at the margin for completing the first lap and a half. That's pretty remarkable. Then, as you said, Murillo 2nd, Fosnot in the 74 3rd, Goulart 4th. And then the rest of the group coming up behind them a little bit. And that entry of Jensen, he put in a great run as well yesterday. Great to see. Keith Jensen up from basically on this grid. He was sitting back at about 10th spot, and he's up to 5th.
Yeah, Jeff Sexton going on the inside of him in that winding road. Mazda MX-5 Global Cup cars, the drag race down the straightaway, as one of the Genesis Coupes are off to the side there. Car number 78 That's going to be devastating for them. They've had a lot of problems this weekend, had to change a motor. The tire rack came loose, I think, in the car. There's Matthew Fosnaught battling for second, side by side with Kenny Murillo. Elevon Goulart's going to look to the inside as they make contact coming into turn number 13 here.
Yeah, Murillo swung wide. Fosnaught was there, and they clouded each other pretty hard. And Goulart, as you said, now trying to take advantage of it, but he's kind of trapped up on the outside, but he's going to try and float around the outside. Watch the over-under here, Jeff.
Yeah, Goulart set that up perfectly. You saw him go way to the outside, breathe it in, carry all that momentum out. And in these MX-5s, you can hold that gas flat out around this triple apex right-handed complex.
He's trying to do just that, which would give him the inside into 19. You know, Fosnaught's going to fight it hard, but Goulart now, able to slide through. Fosnaught thinking about his own over-under, but Goulart able to carry enough speed out of it. Now, can Fosnaught dive to the inside? No, not quite able to get that done. And so Murillo, as a result of all of that activity, finds himself with a little bit of a margin, and the 70 of Goulart slides up into third in class, but Fosnaught coming after him as they head down into turn 1. Is he going to pop, or is he just going to stay put? I think he's realizing they need to work together right now to try and get back up to the back of 33 Murillo to have any hope of this one at this stage. And in touring car B, PJ Gronke has gone around and picked up the lead. Dropped it for a second, but the pole sitter right back on point in touring car B. So great racing unfolding in all the classes, but leading up front and overall right now, it is Nick Whitmer in the 91 BMW.
Continuing on our global web feed here at MotorTrendOnDemand.com and World-Challenge.com, Kenny Murillo, Elevon Goulart's really battling now. It's great to see these Mazdas nose to tail and how close the competition can be. You just got a glimpse of that Scion FRS of Eric Powell coming down into turn number 11 now. Goulart looking to the inside. He goes back trying to see if he can open up that corner to get a good launch onto the straightaway as Kenny Murillo protects down to the inside.
It looked like Murillo was slow into turn 11, and that allowed Goulart to get a really stout run. And Fosnaught trying to get a double toe out of the program here, see what he's able to organize here. Here's the 17 of Randy Hale. Got a report that he got called for a drive-through. That's why he's back in the order a little bit, one of our actual touring car category machines. And I think it was he got a little bit too anxious on the start, the officials felt. And so he had to do a drive-through. But boy, this is all for second in touring car A. That's the one thing, because Powell is just disappearing up the road, Jeff.
Well, that new platform with that Scion FRS from Tech Sport Racing, they don't have a lot of spares built up yet. It's a brand new program they brought in halfway through the year. So this, you know, I hate to wish any well, especially on my good buddy Eric Powell there, but, you know, you never know. This could always be a battle for the lead. You're not sure what's going to happen. So looks like Matthew Fosnaught maybe just breathing a little bit, letting those Pirelli P0 tires cool off, see what happens with in front of them. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Randy Hale in also a Mazda MX-5, but it's in touring car trim, so a little bit quicker, get the wing on the back, a little bit more stout of a motor in that Hale propeller entry, but he'll be frustrated being down in the order as he is right now. But he's a gentleman too, and he realizes this is a battle for second right now. Ooh, something coming off one of the cars.
Yeah, a little piece of trim, I believe, on that lower front bumper of Kenny Murillo's Global MX-5 Cup car, but good battle here in TCA. Randy Hale able to clear them, and no harm, no foul there with that battle for TCA second place.
Welcome back, everybody. Ooh, big moment as people trying to roll some speed, getting out of turn number 11 onto that long straight in the 36. The Chetan Peronic right there absolutely crossed up.
Yeah, stepped on the gas there, and you got to give it up to I believe the number 28. That would be Nemkov. He's going to be your Optima Battery Best Standing Start Award winner, plus 6 positions on the very first lap. And you saw him in the race yesterday from that Auto Technique BMW, had the problems with that incident on the exit of turn number 2. That's what put him back in the field, but good way to capitalize picking up that award.
Yep, that's always a way to reward the crew after having to fix a race car, is to give them one of the coveted specialty awards here in the championship. And he did exactly that. Just a great job, and is working his way up through the pack right now. And just everywhere you look here, you're embroiled in some serious battles. He's come right up on the back now of Travis Washay and is trying to figure out a way through on him as we get back up to the front. And boy, I'll tell you what, the number 80 of Magagnoli has been able to get around Leah Fuge. These guys have been running in such close concert right now, but Grahovic is the guy with the fast lap of the race. He has run them right back down again, Jeff, in that number 1 classic BMW.
He is Magagnoli, I believe, not really holding him up, but he's able to make that FCP Euro BMW kind of wide against Gregory Leafuge. I think Gregory's thinking long-term picture. Paul Holton back in 11th place. He's in 3rd. Nick Whitmer's right behind him in the championship, though, so he's got to get around Magagnoli here pretty quick if he wants to keep this championship close. He has a good chance of coming ahead right now over Paul Holton, who said, like I said, once you get out of that clean air in that Audi, he's really going to struggle to move up through the field.
Ellen, the interesting thing here is that nobody in this group is racing or can get any help from a teammate because they're all from different teams, with the exception of right back there, Matt Travis, as he's following Grahovic. Those guys run for the same team, but everybody else in front here, different teams, and means you've got no friends.
Yeah, ST Racing, Rooster Hall Racing, then you got Steve Cameron Racing, and then Classic BMW. Then you got Winding Road, if you want to throw them in there, with Mason Felipe right behind them. So you talk about different manufacturers. Yeah, so you got Zima Motorsports. So it's great fun here in touring car.
Yeah, and here is a look at the touring car B category, and PJ Gronke has been able to open up just a little bit of a lead here as they work out of 18 through turn 19. And this is an interesting scenario because this almost seems to be Kanan's MO every once in a while. He just follows PJ and follows him and follows him, and then in the last couple of laps just seems to be able to come after him and find it just a little bit. And PJ had talked about in the earlier is he said, I keep conserving tires, and he said maybe I'm conserving too much. So possibly here in that race yesterday, with this track being abrasive on tires, maybe PJ went a little too hard early and ran out of tires at the end. It's a nice thing about having a second race to be able to unfold is what did you learn from race 1? How do you apply it?
Yeah, and you look at that from data. You can see these cars do have the Motec management system on there, so it shows you the acceleration loads, how quick you can accelerate out of a corner compared to the next driver. And then being on the same team, I'm sure they can share some data, look over, hey, I know you're hurting at this place, this is where you can improve, I can improve over here, and they can race this close all race long.
It does make it fun, and as you can see, they have absolutely checked out at this stage on the rest of the touring car B field. Huge margin in hand for them at this stage. Back to this great battle. Look at this. Boy, that was pretty close. I don't think a piece of paper would have fit between those two bumpers. The 33 of Murillo and the 70 of Elevan Goulart.
This is good stuff. They're giving each other just enough room. You can rub, you can touch, that's okay. You start hitting, you start banging and pushing people out of the way, that's when they have a problem. But good old straight up close racing like that, this is what touring car action is about in Pirelli World Challenge. Elevan Goulart able to get the better of Kenny Murillo, and Matthew Fosnot now coming down here into turn at number 19. And then you got turn number 20 to come onto the straightaway.
I'll tell you what, all this side-by-side grinding has allowed Jeff Sexton in the Winding Road Team Mazda Global MX-5 car right there just coming into the frame. He has run them down. He dropped back just a little bit and has closed it up again. But again, that margin up to your leader at this stage, up to 6 seconds, Jeff.
Yeah, and Jeff Sexton's done a great job as well. He had lost that car at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in a huge incident. Said they have a BMW M235i in the stables waiting if he wants to go up to that touring car category, but really loves this Global MX-5 Cup platform there as Elevan Goulart and Kenny Murillo up in front of them battling side by side. It's now going to become a 4-car battle for second if we get Sexton and Fosnot to recover.
What a move by Elevan. And again, Murillo moves over and taps him. I think he's getting a little bit too aggressive out there. And that may have been it. Big tank slapper, big save, but that's going to cost him just a little bit.
Yeah, got that car loose, and you could have saw him spinning back to the other way when he caught it. Tremendous car control from that young man.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of karma, though, having him get sideways like that. He's been awfully aggressive with these little side moves, but he gathered it up, as you said, beautiful save, and is now going to go after it again. Love this section of track down through turn 10. Really quick downhill, off-camber, sweeping turn, and then into arguably the most important turn of the track.
Yeah, coming out of turn number 11, you see that's why, that long straightaway. About 120 miles an hour in these TCA cars by the time they get down to the end of that straightaway. So major speed there as our TC leaders coming through the back of our TCB field. And I believe that's Ted Sally that's in third place behind those two Chevy Sonics so far, the best of the rest in the TCB category. And Jake Peipel, one of the championship contenders there in that Honda Fit.
Meanwhile, up front, Nick Whitmer having a very solid run here in that number 91 ST Racing entry from pole after a second place finish yesterday. Will he be able to hang on and get the win? Well, it continues to stretch that margin over Anthony Magagnoli in the number 80 from Roosterall Racing and the number 20 from Stephen Cameron Racing of Greg Leafouge in the Touring Car A category. Eric Powell continues to lead for Tech Sport in his Scion, and in Touring Car B, Kanan O'Connell has gone around in his Tech Sport Sonic and taken the lead from teammate PJ Cronky.
You see the battle continuing here on Global Live web stream at world-challenge.com and motortrendondemand.com as your leaders coming up through the leaders of our TCB field. Now it still is Nick Whitmer. Anthony Magagnoli now able to pull away a little bit here from Gregory Leafouge and start hunting down Nick Whitmer, trying to see if he can go for that overall win now.
This is good stuff here and there. There is that battle, as you said, for the Touring Car B as they work their way in here. And Magagnoli's finding some speed, isn't he?
It really is.
Oh, and Leafouge way wide.
Oh, and Toby Grahovic going to see if he can stay to the outside here as the battle there. You see Kanan O'Connell getting around PJ Gronke for the TCB lead as well. Positions are about to swap here in both of our categories.
There was a warning, right, as this field set sail where race control said track limits do apply. And we've seen a couple of cars not forced, just run wide. Waiting to hear what, if anything, is going to happen from race control. Look at this battle in Touring Car B. As the traffic comes through, it just packs these guys up, right? As Kanan starts to drift away a little bit, they get a faster car come through, parks him a little bit, and PJ's right there.
Yeah, Stefan Sajak, you saw him cut down there in turn number 12. Wanted to try to miss these TCB cars as quick as they could. So make a little shortcut there in turn number 11. And actually, race control gave him a warning on that as well.
Oh, Gronke just flicked to the left. Kanan had covered it a little bit, though, and PJ realized that. Oh, look at Carl Whitmer way, way wide there. Right in front of Tony Rivera. Good battle here for 8th.
And Paul Rudd there, you saw him get way wide in that blue winding road BMW on the outside. John Weisberg right behind him, trying to see if he can make a move. And Tony Rivera, that big battle there. This is a nice 4-car battle for about the 8th place.
You see a little bit of lockup there by the 71 of Holton. And oh no, the Zima entered BMW of Chetan Puranik. We saw him have that big lurid slide. Looks like he's got damage to the left rear. His day might be done. And we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas. The battle for the lead is on overall and in touring car here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas. Nick Whitmer from the pole continues to hang on to it, Jeff, but Anthony Magagnoli is coming after him. They've both drawn away a little bit from Leafouge and Grahovic. They're trying to turn this into a mano-a-mano scrap.
And you can see they're actually doing that. And here's some incident here where we were in break. You can see that damage there to Stefan Sajak. And I'm not sure who that was that hit him there. I think that was...
That's Chetan Puranik that got clocked there. Oh, look at this. Magagnoli right up along the outside shoulder of Whitmer. Down through this great stadium section here. It's really a fascinating part of the track, isn't it? Because the first section of it is a decreasing radius, the second one increasing radius. There's the damage. There's Pirelli off to the side of the track, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad area there. You're under acceleration.
Yeah.
You get a couple guys too wide through there, and they push somebody out to the outside. Just a sitting duck. And unfortunately, with that rear damage, not to believe that was a hit from Jorgensen in the 065 BMW. That's just a bad area there. So they're going to try to see if we get some race control chatter here about what they're going to be doing. You can see Gerasi was the whole instigator of that, really locked up the front of that Audi RS3 LMS Club Sport and slid right into the back of Jorgensen, so really no fault of his own. But getting word now, full course yellow.
Yeah, I mean, where he's sitting over there, Chetan, is not in a good area, and have to get that taken care of. So this is going to be interesting because these four had drawn away from Matt Travis, Mason Filippi, Stefan Sajak. And those guys are going to come right up to him, and they're going to bring Whitmer, Rivera, Rudd, Weisberg, and for Holton, this is big, be able to get back up. And he looks like he might be having a little bit of a problem with braking. Seen him lock up a couple of times, and I'll tell you, a guy who's put together a good drive here is Jason Kupal in the 009 Berg Racing Audi. He's fought his way right up behind Holton.
Yeah, up to 13th, so good job for him. And you want to try to be, I think if you can't win the race, you always want to be the top finishing manufacturer of that race. So I know JT's probably sitting there going, hey, I have a chance to be the top finishing Audi here, and he's going to fight everything he can to get that.
Absolutely. So while we're under caution here, we're going to take a quick break. Whitmer leads overall and in touring car. Still Eric Powell, and that huge margin goes away for Powell in the touring car A category, and PJ Gronke able to slip back into the lead right before the caution comes out in touring car B.
Shouldn't be too soon, too long here. We can get, the BMW cleared off for the exit of turn number 15 there. It's not too much damage. I mean, that left rear, and probably these cars don't have the traditional axle. It's all independent suspension, so you think about probably broke that left rear axle half shaft, so to speak. Yep. There on the left of that BMW, so no drive. So he's able to get it cleared, but they'll do a quick. They don't really. He's probably kind of concerned to pull tow it, knowing he has that damage there to the left rear.
Yeah, they're certainly looking at it here. It looks to me like maybe there's a tow issue with that left rear.
Oh, the shot that he took to the bumper, it was right on that wheel, too. Big damage there to that BMW. And good to see that team come in here with two cars strong. Of course, if it's any concession, Patrick Sajak is at least up into the top 7. So getting word that Ted Sally, you see there's that damage there, is Gerasi. I don't know if Gerasi didn't push him into Jorgensen. Jorgensen just came in there and locked up on the inside.
He was, Gerasi locked up a little bit, but he was wide. Jorgensen went to the inside, and I think he just misjudged it.
Thought he had an open there, but he's got word from race control that Ted Sally, that number 02 Mazda 2 and TCB, is no longer being scored, ignoring the drive-through penalty for a blend line violation at the beginning of the race. Let's take a quick look here. As you see, there's the lock up there from Gerasi, and Jorgensen was just on the inside, had already committed to go on the inside of Gerasi and just missed that braking zone in that reared-in Motorsports BMW and slammed. Unfortunately, poor Propanik, just no place to go.
Well, I think Gerasi realized, I'm going to get into the back of Pirelli here, so he braked abruptly. Jorgensen, carrying some speed, swung to the left, and just had way too much speed built at that point. That's unfortunate. And, of course, you hate it when both of those guys drive off and the guy who's completely innocent, Pirelli, suddenly finds himself broken and parked on the side of the road. The slings and arrows of racing fortunes.
Yeah, well, that's the stadium complex down there through there. That whole section of corners is all wrapped around with grandstands. It's a really good ways to go watch for them, and they're just trying to make sure it's a good chance to watch everything and put a show on for the fans, I guess, that are there. That's what we call it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's going to be interesting here because with this caution, we were past the halfway point. Everybody had been racing hard, and these Pirelli P0 slicks are remarkable tires, but you push them hard in the heat of the day, they can go off a little bit. This yellow, if we get this back to green here, we could have some guys and gals that have tires that are in really superb shape that can really drop the hammer and go here.
I think the rear-wheel drive and especially the front-wheel drive Audis are really going to take advantage of this time that you say under yellow. So Paul Holton back in the 11th place, JT Koppel in 12th, and then the problems that you saw with Anthony Gerasi, he's marred back in the field after that pit stop. He'll be behind the TCA and TCB cars.
This is such a good looking field that certainly sizable But also, I mean, you think about these are touring cars, and these teams and cars are turned out and prepped so well.
They are. Some of the teams are some of the top-notch teams that race in other series in the top half of those fields. The C360R running multiple platforms. Classic BMW's been around for a little while, and not sure what Paul Holton's trying to signal there, but we'll go through that as well. But I saw on one of the shots there that PJ Gronke was back in front of Kanan O'Connell. So I think they said that if there was any passes under yellow,
good point,
to go ahead and give it back. So maybe Paul Holton's thinking, hey, I need to get a thing back here.
I wonder if at one point Kupal had gone in front and Holton got him or something and is saying, go around me again. This, look, you could see the frustration of Eric Powell, the helmet, the head down. This car, he had an immense lead built up, Jeff, in the pits again.
Yeah, 14 seconds was the lead here in TCA. They got the crew guy in there. I believe they're trying to switch the computer or switch the fuse, trying everything he can. He has to be out of the car for them to reach that. And Carl Whitmer, problem there for him as well.
Yeah, I'd seen him. I thought he was just trying to give up possibly, another scenario with a pass maybe under caution. He had moved over, but apparently he's got something a bit more terminal than that at this stage.
Now they're trying to start him. Yeah, trying to bump start him. They just took up, grabbed that Nissan Titan and grabbed that tow roll, hooked up to that tow thing, dragged that thing. You can start a steam engine with that Nissan Titan, the way that thing pulls that car. Come on, get that hook up. I've always done that before where your car starts. You're not supposed to bump start it behind the tow hook, but when you're going for a championship and points, oh, look, my starter magically works. You know, it's just one of those, you never know what happens, and they're going to hook it up now and try to get him back underway. But, man, devastating for Carl. You know,
he had a really good run going.
His brother racing go-karts now, so twins is Carl. I believe what's his brother's name? Carl Whitmer's brother? Not sure. There's Nick, Carl, Kuno, and the twins. Yeah. This is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
And Carl, of course, prior to a couple of years ago, was playing professional hockey over in Europe, and so just decided, you know what, I got the racing bug again here, and we're very grateful for it, and great to have him as part of this championship here.
I want to give a huge thank you to that ST Racing team. Of course, you saw Nick Whitmer leading right now. Samantha Tan in a top 15 in her number 38 BMW, so great run from her. However, they had a beautiful barbecue last night. Thank you for the food there, Ken Tan. Samantha's father putting that on for everybody here in the paddocks. Good old Texas barbecue, wine, everything there. So they're trying to see if Eric Powell, they're trying to get that car to start as well. Just devastating for this 86racing.com Tech Sport Racing team, man.
That's one of those scenarios when you're developing and sort of working on a new program. You have to deal with all kinds of, they call it the teething problems. It's exactly what it is. When it runs, it's a rocket ship, but they're still trying to deal with it. Yeah, and something that a lot of people don't realize about Samantha Tan, she is a phenomenal piano player. Absolutely superb at that, as well as an artist. She is a very, very talented young lady and just loves her racing.
Yeah. Multi-Canadian touring car champion in her category up there as well, making the switch over to Pirelli World Challenge. Been a long-time competitor now. I think this is her third or fourth full season in Pirelli World Challenge. Started off in the B-Spec category, moved into TCA, then ran with the Kia program, and now into BMW. So good run for her, and Nick Whitmer here still leading.
Continuing under caution here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas. It's Circuit of the Americas just outside of Austin, and a couple of incidents happening at the same time. The most notable one of Chetan Puranik after he got unfortunately hit by Darren Jorgensen and damaged the car. It's taken them a little while to get him up onto the flatbed to get that car removed, but really here's what happened, and Anthony Girazzi got on the brakes hard right there to avoid hitting Puranik. I think it surprised Jorgensen, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he was down there to the inside thinking they were going to go side by side. And Gino Carini just barely missing the spinning car of Puranik there. So good heads up driving by Gino as well. They're still trying to get that car restarted of Carl Whitmer. And here's the devastating 14-second lead for Eric Powell. Electrical problems once again in our TCA category. Mentioned it before, that battle for TCA that we saw for second against Goulart and the teammate Fosnot and Kenny Morello could have been a battle for the lead. Goulart taking advantage.
It is a battle for the lead. Yeah, you're right. And that happened too for Carl Whitmer while we were in break. Car just suddenly stopped, trying to get it to start, couldn't do it, getting it hooked up. But looks like, I think we got word we may be able to get back to green this time. Yep, lights are out on that beautiful Honda Civic safety car, so we're going back to green. And you can usually tell because suddenly the field gets real aggressive in scrubbing tires.
Yeah, start moving back and forth, and not necessarily trying to keep heat in those tires, just a lot of the debris. This was the final race of the weekend. They've had 7 races in the Pirelli World Challenge touring car categories, a couple different support races as well. There's a lot of stuff on this track. You get a lot of buildup on those tires, making these different lines when you're under caution, so try to get everything cleaned off. Nick Whitmer going to be focused here. Anthony Maganoli was catching him, so we'll see how it works, as there's the Nick Whitmer, the crew chief there in that ST Racing.
Yeah, obviously a bit nervous and excited at the same time for the opportunity here. When we go back to green, it's going to be probably about 9 minutes left in this race. So it turned from a 40-minute sprint into a 9-minute shootout here at the Coda Corral.
And Maganoli cannot be left hanging to dry with Gregory Fouge out here. Once they enter that VP fuel acceleration zone, it is Nick Whitmer's choice on when he wants to go. You got to be up on the wheel here. Maganoli, his rookie season, we'll have to see if he's going to pay attention to this restart.
Well, it's been interesting in some of the other categories, what we've seen, and that turn 20, that last part of the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone, very tight corner, and the drivers that have made it work really well have gone right as they get to that apex, and it's tough to accelerate into an apex, so it really does seem to be pretty effective, and it's just a matter of how Maganoli decides to read that.
He'll try to get as close as he can on that bump upper. Jonathan Somerton driving our Honda Civic SI pace car here this weekend. Longtime GT competitor here in Pirelli World Challenge competition, stepping up to drive the pace car this weekend. Thank you so much for that. But here it is, Nick Whitmer into that VP fuel acceleration zone.
See how it plays here. Boy, Maganoli is glued to that rear deck. Whitmer into the zone, rolls into the throttle, and Maganoli read that as well as I've seen anybody read it here this weekend. Look at the gap they both have already to Lea Fouge, and Maganoli is close enough. He looks to the inside and now pops to the outside. It's going to be interesting. See if he can execute the over-under here.
Well, Nick Whitmer really has to pinch it down to the inside. Maganoli saw him just turn that wheel to the left, put the acceleration down, but the acceleration momentum for Nick Whitmer on the outside too overpowering out the exit of turn number 1.
All right, Maganoli going to try and stuff it down the inside here. Whitmer gives him a little bit of room. Maganoli absolutely crossed up. And that is he's got to give that position up. That was a clear cut of the course. And he'll either have to give it up or he'll be asked to make a run down pit lane, I'm sure. And so there he goes.
Yeah, the problem is, though, he wants to give Whitmer the position, but he doesn't want to give Gregory Fouge the position. His best thing to do is on the straightaway here, you just breathe it a little bit. There you go, let Whitmer go. But you got to get right behind him or Gregory Fouge is going to take advantage.
Here comes Lea Fouge. And, for an instant, Lea Fouge was third with Maganoli second, so that that's going to be Lea Fouge and Cameron Racing's argument right there. Oh, they touched. Maganoli felt he got kind of pushed wide there, I think, by Lea Fouge.
He did, actually.
Yeah, he came back over and let him know that's not cricket. And, boy, it's going to be fun here. Look at this, side by side. And all of this is just going to help Nick Whitmer, isn't it, Jeff?
It sure is. Nick Whitmer's going to be able to pull away. It's Toby Grahovic now looking down to the inside. He's going to try to make a run on Maganoli as well.
Oh, boy. Maganoli going to try and stay around the outside. And again, Lea Fouge just runs wide. Now, Maganoli's just going to have to tuck in behind. And there it is, the warning from the 2-0 racing room from race control.
Oh, Maganoli down to the inside. Toby Grahovic right behind him. There's Mason Felipe making a move.
Ooh, to get him?
On Matt Travis as well. They're going to be side by side. And Gregory Fouge right on the back bumper. And Nick Whitmer now to the inside. He turns the wheel down. Whitmer tries everything he can to defend. He'll have the inside here at turn 19. Lea Fouge has to give him room. He's already got word from race control. Maganoli looking inside to make contact. Lea Fouge spins around.
Well, you knew that might well be happening after the contretemps side by side. That might end in tears, and it has. And for Lea Fouge, this is massive in terms of the championship. I'm surprised he was racing that aggressively, knowing where Holton was.
And Paul Holton, buy him. Bye-bye. Here it is, Lele Fouge. He did move, gave Nick the room. Maganoli stuck it in there. I don't think Anthony ever presented himself to Gregory Lele Fouge as well. That is all fault on car number 80, unfortunately, there. Gregory Lele Fouge stuck out.
Well, it's going to be reviewed. We'll give you the word as to what was the decision. But now Toby Grahovic attacking on your leader, Whitmer. So one BMW traded for another one. The battle is on at the front. We have to step away. We will be right back here to take you to the finish here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas. Nick Whitmer hanging on by the skin of his teeth in the ST Racing BMW, leading here in touring car with Toby Grahovic, the defending champion in the #1 classic BMW M235 IR, hanging on into second. Matt Travis, who has dropped back as far as the 6th spot after starting second, Jeff, up into 3rd.
He's doing a great job kind of just hanging out, seeing what was going to happen in front of him, letting them dice it out, and then the bearer of benefit there. But Toby Grahovic looking to the outside, Nick Whitmer protecting down to the inside. I know Toby, with the season he's had, it has not been a title defense for him in that #1 classic BMW. They're based out of Plano, Texas. He wants nothing more to be Texas homegrown, hometown here to come out with a victory.
I'll tell you what, Tony Rivera has had a storming restart after that caution. He's sitting in 6th, and he's scrapping right now for the 5th spot. And the big story here is you take a look at where number 20, Lele Fouge is. He went from 2nd to 20th, and Holton is now up into 9th. That is a massive swing here.
Yeah, not sure what happened here. As you see, there's a big change in our touring car A. Let's take a quick look and see what happened here as Kenny Morello, Jeff Sexton, and Dan Williams, as we go back here to turn number 11. Oh, and contact. Whoa, huge hit with Kanan O'Connell and PJ Gronke in the TCB category cars. Ella Von Goulart and Matthew Fosnot, the SAC racing team. That's going to allow Kenny Morello, Jeff Sexton, and Dan Williams to get around him.
Yeah, that's multi-class racing, and just misjudging it a little bit. Unbelievable here. So Morello now has a monster margin here over, as you said, Sexton.
And there's PJ Gronke. Championship implications here in TCB. You see the damage to the left front of that Chevy Sonic. Can he just bring it home? I believe it's going to put him back into about the 4th or 5th place. You see positive camber on that left front.
Wow.
Heavy damage there. Only has to hold it off for about 3 more minutes.
That is a tough break. Meanwhile, up front, and here we go. White flag to our leader next time by. Whitmer is still in that position, but Grahovic, Nick really crossed up there, Jeff.
Big sideways as he got back to the gas. Toby Grahovic, there was no contact there, just Nick is pushing so hard to stay in front of Toby. Toby putting that pressure on. If he makes a move, you got to watch out for your own teammate, Matt Travis, behind you. It is a big team with Classic BMW, but they're all individuals running their own cars here.
And then Mason Filippi, and then coming up into the fray here is Steven Sajak, running for Zima, up into the 5th spot right there, the number 18. So good run there. And there's Tony Rivera battling with the 81 of Jacob Rude, and Holton he's right there as well.
Yep,
this is getting interesting here. They come around the wounded 74 of Matt Fosnot, and we get word, white flag this time by, as I said, for Whitmer, and he turns it in to turn number 12, the end of that long straight. Now he's got to just balance it on the throttle all the way through here. Fosnot doing everything he can to get out of the way. Ooh, look at this. Rivera trying to squeeze down underneath the 81 of Rude. Couldn't quite get that done, and Holton wanted no part of that, swung out way wide.
Yeah, you see Nick Whitmer there protecting that inside down here in that stadium complex. Matt Travis goes way wide on the exit. I think Mason Felipe is going to be able to capitalize on as he closes the gap there. Nick Whitmer needs to keep it tight through here. Toby Grahovic, you see him putting the nose of that BMW down to the inside. Just a nice 4-wheel slide for Nick Whitmer. He is doing everything he can to hold off your 2016 champ.
All right, here we go. Does Grahovic have enough to do something into 20? Whitmer just turns in early. It's going to slow him up, though, maybe getting onto this front straight. Grahovic got to run. Oh, this is going to be huge. Whitmer's going to go way to the inside. White flag is out. Last lap. The battle is on. What can Whitmer do Felipe pops to the outside, trying to maybe take third away from Travis. Here we go. Down into that first turn, and so far Whitmer able to hang on to it. Oh, this is unbelievable for the championship in touring car B as well. The number 25 of Gronke is told he's got to go through pit lane next time by to start his final lap for a drive-through. Apparently they deemed him incident responsibility for that contact with Fosnot in that group. So that's really going to hurt PJ.
It really is in that championship battle, but I don't think Toby Grohovic cares about championship anymore. He knows he doesn't have an opportunity now. It's all about race win in his home state of Texas here, trying to see if he can get around Toby Grohovic and get around Nick Whitmer. But Matt Travis starting to battle with Toby Grohovic now. It's going to be a three-way battle for the lead. I don't want to call this, Greg Creamer. I'm not sure how this is going to end up here.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And for Whitmer, if he can hang on to the win, he's got opportunity here with Leah Fouge well back, Holton back. Ooh, a little tap from Toby Grohovic as they get into turn number 11 and onto the straight. And I think he was just trying to unsettle Whitmer just a little bit. And right now, Whitmer is hoping that Travis comes up and starts bugging Grohovic here. Now Grohovic's going to move to the right as they head down at the end of this long straight. Is Grohovic going to try a late dive bomb move to the inside? Here he comes. Whitmer defends. They touch. They touch again. Whitmer turns underneath. Grohovic goes way off track, locked up those brakes. And that's going to be a track limit issue here, I think, because he was not forced off that turn.
Yeah, not at all.
And there.
Oh, Whitmer got it back. Felipe to the outside of Travis. They bump as they come down here in the stadium complex. Toby Grohovic way late on the brakes there, trying to put the bumper to Nick Whitmer and just get him a little bit loose. As look at Sajak now getting around Mason Felipe.
And now Felipe is going to try and dive back down around it as Travis sweeps the outside. Oh, fabulous stuff. Whitmer has just that little bit of breathing room here into turn 19. One more corner to go. Can Nick Whitmer bring home a win? He's had a couple of podiums, the three of them this year, off of a first pole. He does it. BMW and ST Racing wins at Circuit of the America. What a final flurry of laps we have seen. Toby Grohovic, what a great run as well. And here is the number 25. This is the big story that's kind of developing as well. PJ Gronke continues to run at the front of the touring car B category, but he was supposed to go down pit lane and opted not to do that. So what will happen is they'll probably just give him a post-race, what they call a drive-through equivalent penalty. But it has now, all of that action has moved Jake Pipel up into second, and Pipel comes in right in the throes of this championship hunt. O'Connell right now runs back in fifth. So big story here as Jake Pipel gets an opportunity this weekend here as he switched over to a Honda Fit a couple of races ago. And at the line, Kenny Murillo comes through and picks up the win in touring car. Jeff Sexton, what a drive by Jeff, brings it home in second spot for that Winding Road team Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car. And the number three, third, the number 22. Good drive there for Daniel Williams. Just a superb run for him in the team Tech Sports Scion. That one stayed running. And that was able to bring home a podium for that team. And assuming that PJ does have to end up getting a drive-through equivalent penalty, the number 6 Honda Fit here of Jake Pipel will come through and pick up a win here this weekend. And it would be his third of the season. As he makes that turn into the final corner. Again, PJ is going to come through and take the checker first. Have to see how that plays out. But if he does, it is Pipel who will come by and pick up the win, and behind him completing the podium as they work their way through. Oh man, it is the number 3 of Thompson, Blake Thompson, superb drive, and then the 4 of Jasper Drengler would complete the podium. So as Nick Whitmer, if anybody's ever earned a cool down lap and a victory lap, it's him. We're going to pause. We'll come back to hear from our winners. Wow. Into victory circle comes Nick Whitmer after a second place yesterday and a pole as a result. He climbs out of that ST Racing BMW. Boy, and he was ready for you, Jeff. Helmet off. He wants to talk.
Oh, yeah, he was ripping that helmet off as he came in, and faster than you drove here today. Tell us about that last lap and getting the win here today.
I mean, that was it was the best racing I've ever had out there. Thanks to STR Racing, BMW Motorsports, Fuse. We all did a great job. We did a slight error taking a wrong setup for this race. It hurt me a bit, but I made my car real wide, legal. I don't think anybody had any complaints of my wide car, but still clean race. Even at the end, the roughing and scuffing with Toby, that's racing. It's awesome.
Congratulations here, Nick Whitmer, your winner in touring car, probably the most exciting race all season long.
Well, you know, when you hear a driver say even the getting roughed up at the end, that's racing, that means that's a touring car racer, because that's the level of intensity these guys race at. Look at that celebration there. And, wow, just great news for ST Racing and the Whitmers, certainly. Here's a look at the touring car results. Whitmer over Grahovic, and that margin of victory really doesn't come close to telling the story. And Travis, Matt Travis hanging on. What a roller coaster ride for him. Started second, way out of the top five, fought his way back to the podium. Stefan Sajak and Mason Filippi, just great stuff. Tony Rivera, first non-BMW, and he brings it home in seventh. Paul Holton in eighth in the Audi, and you would think, well, not a great day for Holton. However, with Leia Fouge falling way down the order after that contact, he fought his way back up into 13th. But Holton actually will open up the point lead. Whitmer might well slide into second. Just some interesting developments here. And now, after an absolute hip check grind fest, Kenny Murillo into victory circle with Jeff Lepper.
Well, I'll tell you what, this race in Touring Car A was not without its battling all race long. And Kenny, you're the benefactor from the argy-bargy, as Calvin Fish would put it.
Yeah, it was really rough out there, and since the beginning, I was just trying to race clean, with Monterey and Mazda Raceway coming up, had that in my eyes, and, I noticed the TCB cars are there, and I didn't want to interrupt what they were doing, and they got caught up with the leaders for the TCA, and I just had to take advantage of it and go from there.
Tell us about this program for you to come here, sweep the weekend. It's got to be great making your debut at the last round in Pirelli World Challenge.
Yeah, it's all hard work that happens behind the scenes with my dad, Camarillo, Chris Boyer, everyone. It's all a team effort. I'm just a monkey who drives the car, so without them, I want to be here. So with hard work comes results, and I'm happy to bring that for them.
Pretty damn good driver as well. Kenny Murillo getting the win here today in TCA.
I would agree, and as you pointed out, Jeff, that's a good comment. A sweep of the weekend for Kenny Murillo. Well done for that Murillo Racing team. Here is a look at the Touring Car A results here for this 10th round of the championship. Murillo, Jeff Sexton, just a really strong drive. Qualified up in the 5th spot, then dropped way back and then fought his way back through. And Daniel Williams, who didn't even finish the race and get classified yesterday, the Team Tech Sport Scion, it was his team owner's problems mechanically today, and Williams, that car stayed together, and he brought it home for a podium for Tech Sport. Got to be happy with that. And then the two Hondas from Tom O'Gorman and Shea Holbrook and Shea Racing rounding out the top five. You can see Goulart, Fosnot way back in the order there. In Touring Car B, tell you what, an absolutely great run. After switching manufacturers, they figured it out. Jake Pipel, your winner, Jeff.
Well, Jake started the season in that Mazda, but you come over here with the Honda Fit. Congratulations on your race win today. So it was sort of just there at the end.
Yeah, I just stayed strong, kept on putting my laps down. I had some help from Drangler behind me, and we just worked, and then someone got in I think there was a little bit of a wreck, and then we just kept on driving and picking people off. And thank you so much to Carbotech Brakes for giving me great brakes so I can go deep in the braking zone. Zamp helmets and HPD Racing for helping me out along the way. I'm just so happy to be here right now. It's amazing.
Well, there you go. That's championship in Touring Car B. Far from over due to the win today from Jake Pipel.
Oh, yeah, it is just snugging up, isn't it? All these championships are just getting absolutely intense as we will be heading into our final event. And, of course, it comes in October, so there's a little bit of a break here for us. Let's take a look at our Touring Car B results. Again, Jake Pipel in that Honda Fit from Jake Pipel Racing, getting the win. Blake Thompson in the Icel Miata Parts Mazda 2, bringing it home in second. And Jasper Drangler completing the podium in his Drangler Racing Honda Fit. And the other championship contenders back in the order, obviously Kanan O'Connell, and then the problem for PJ Gronke, the damage, and then the drive-through. That's going to really throw some wrinkles into what's unfolding here in these championships, and it's all going to play out in about a month and a half's time. Boy, it's going to be fun to be there. We hope you join us when we do get out to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and the beautiful Monterey Peninsula in October for the season finale for the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Cars. It's been great to have you with us, not just for this wonderful race, but all weekend here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas and Circuit of the Americas in Austin. On behalf of Jeff Lepper and Calvin Fish, I'm Greg Creamer. It's been a treat. Have a great time, everybody, and we look forward to coming back at you with Pirelli World Challenge Racing for the finish of the sprint season for the GT and the GTS cars middle of September from Sonoma Raceway, and then in October, the season finale for the touring cars from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Until then, take care.